Hi, everybody. Mrs. Wants here. Today we are talking about repetition in writing, and this is part 2. We are going to be looking at unintentional repetition. So, why do we care about unintentional repetition in our writing? Well, we want to evolve our writing toward complexity with clarity and efficiency. And this really fits into the efficiency part. So, the definition of repetition that we are working with today is a word that repeats in a sentence or paragraph for better or worse. Today, we are focusing on worse. Intentional repetition, as we've learned, can create rhythm, mood, and attention, and some other great things. Unintentional repetition creates no effect except for fatigue and annoyance. Why are we tired and irritated by unintentional repetition? Well, repeated words take more space, and they make readers work harder. You can think of them like socks. Really, you only need to put one pair of socks on. But if you were to put 2 or 3 or 4 pairs of socks on for no reason, it's going to cost you money. It's going to make your laundry hamper overflow. It's going to put wear and tear on your washing machine. And you might even have to buy all new shoes because too many socks, your feet aren't going to fit into the shoes. So when you have extra words, it's like having extra socks around, ones that you don't really need. So how can we fix unintentional repetition? Well, we're going to learn 3 common techniques to fix the unintentional repetition in your writing. First, we're going to learn how to delete words. Second, use pronouns. And third, replace words with synonyms. We're going to focus on fixing sentences first. And our rule of thumb is don't repeat a word in a sentence. Now, I'm not talking about small words like a or the. I don't care about those words. Your eyes just kind of gloss over those. I'm talking about specific words. For example, I like cartoons. Some cartoons on Netflix have good animation. That's a great sentence. Used a semicolon properly. It's a compound sentence. It's wonderful. But why are we repeating cartoons twice? We could cross cartoons out and just say this. I like cartoons. Some on Netflix have good animation. This word some right here is referring back to cartoons. We know the writer's not talking about something else. And so it's clear. Example number 2. My sister likes 3 foods, but the foods she likes are not healthy. So we have 2 examples of repetition of repeated words in this sentence, likes and foods. Well, what happens if we could just cross those out and put a pronoun, they? My sister likes 3 foods, but they are not healthy. Pronouns are great. They're efficient. Your eye reads them very easily, and they can save words. My sister likes 3 foods, but they are not healthy. You've learned pronouns since probably kindergarten. This is the list. We're not going to go over them, but pronouns are efficient and they save time. Now, fixing bad repetition in paragraphs. Rule of thumb. Repeat a specific word only 2 times per paragraph. Not 3 times, not 4 times. Again, I'm not talking about small words like a or the or is or and, conjunctions, nothing like that. Don't worry about those. I'm talking about specific words. So we're going to look at 2 examples from middle school writing, and they're longish, so I'll try to go fast, but you might need to pause your video. Here's the first one. Liddy Wortham is the main character in Catherine Patterson's book, Liddy. Liddy is a young girl living on a Vermont farm in the 1840s. This is the time of the Industrial Revolution. Liddy's father has abandoned the family, and Liddy's mother leaves her and her brother behind, thinking that the world is coming to an end. The only thing Liddy has left is her farm, which she desperately wants to hold on to. In order to keep her farm, Liddy has to work off the debts on her farm. But the job she has isn't paying enough, so she leaves to begin a new life as a factory girl at the newly developed textile mills in Lowell, Massachusetts. Okay, so this paragraph has a lot of information. It's pretty well written. The punctuation's great, grammar's great, but look at how many times the word Liddy is written. 7 times. That's breaking the rule of thumb. We want to try to get it down to 2, and in this case, possibly 3, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So we call that being redundant. Redundant is we don't need to use this word Liddy over and over again. We know that the author is talking about Liddy. She's the main character, and that's what the paragraph's about. It's annoying, just like the seagull. So looking at the first 2 examples, we're going to keep the first one, obviously, because it's the first time the name is mentioned. We're going to keep the second one too. Normally I wouldn't because it's in the same sentence, but it's the title of the book. We can't really get around it. The third one, though, we're going to use a pronoun, she. And the next one, her father. And the next one, her mother. Now, we're going to keep the third one because if we used another she in there, since we just said her mother, the reader might think we're talking about her mother. So we're going to keep the name there to avoid confusion with this her. And the last one, we're going to put a pronoun, she again. So that brings up the fact that we have another set of repetition. We have the word farm repeated 4 times. So we are going to fix that. First of all, we're going to keep the first mention of farm. We're going to actually keep the second mention of farm because it's far enough down the paragraph and separated from the first mention that it's not annoying. The third mention we're going to replace with the pronoun it. And the last one, I don't think we need it. She has to work off the debts, but the job she has isn't paying enough. It's pretty clear the debts are for her farm, so we're just going to take that out, but keep the comma. Example number 2. The internet can be useful sometimes when you want to learn something or research something. Sometimes we go on the internet to look for answers or research something for a report, essay, science project, or just to know something out of curiosity. Those are some of the ways how the internet can be useful or helpful. Okay, so we have a lot of repetition here. We've repeated internet 3 times. We've repeated something 4 times, sometimes 2 times, and research 2 times. Let's take them one by one and fix it up. So first of all, we need to find synonyms. Synonyms are words that mean pretty much the same thing as the word that you're trying to replace. So instead of sometimes we go on the internet to look for answers, how about sometimes we go online? That's the same thing. Everybody knows the internet and going online are the same. So let's replace it. And that third use of internet, well, do we really need that sentence? Those are some of the ways how the internet can be useful or helpful. I don't think we need that. We've just said how it can be useful or helpful. So we're going to just cross it out and we don't need it. Now, let's take care of the repetition of research. So we need a synonym for this second example, or second repetition of research. But what if I don't know any synonyms for research? This happens to me all the time. I usually don't want to spend too long thinking of synonyms. Now, in the old days, you had to have a thesaurus on your desk, and it took a long time to look up words. But these days, you have Google. So all you have to do is type synonym for and the word you're looking for. In this case, synonym for research. I found a bunch of words. I found investigate, I found explore, and there's some other ones. I'm going to pick explore to replace the word research. So here's what it looks like. Now let's take care of that repetition of sometimes. We can just cross out the first sometimes. The internet can be useful when you want to learn something or research something. It's pretty much all the time useful. Unless you're looking for something very, very obscure, usually every single search turns up thousands, if not millions, of hits. Now, what about the word something? This is one of my least favorite words in writing because it's so vague. And to see it repeated over and over is probably the most annoying thing as a writing teacher that I see. So let's take care of it. So first of all, let's just cross out those 2 first somethings. What if we just said the internet can be useful when you want to learn or research? Just cross them out. And the second pair, we can use a synonym, information. Actually, it's not even a synonym, it's just a more specific word. Sometimes we go online to look for answers or explore information for a report, essay, science project, or just to know something out of curiosity. Now, I hate something so much, the word, that I want to get rid of it. I don't want to have any words that say something in my writing. So I am going to replace it with or just to satisfy our curiosity. And there you have it. You have the same information, it's just much more efficient. And we call that being concise, using just the amount of words that we need to convey the information. In fact, look at the difference. Before, it was much longer. In fact, it was 56 words before and just 35 words now. That's 38% fewer words. That's called being efficient. We don't repeat any words, we don't use vague words, and we say just what we need. So, to recap, intentional repetition is great. It creates rhythm, it might create mood, and maybe possibly attention and some other things. But unintentional repetition is inefficient, annoying, and fatiguing to the reader. So we delete unnecessary words, use pronouns, and find synonyms. So that's it. We're done. You can go on to practice and feedback. Scout says good job in the end, and we will see you next time.